you have legal questions. Amy the attorney has the answers. Welcome to today's show. And here's Amy.
Hello, Kansas City. I am here with Jarrett Johnson today. He is an excellent attorney. We are going to be talking to him about car wrecks and when you're injured in a car wreck or a car accident. I have known Jarrett since I was a young prosecutor and he was a public defender. He is a vigorous advocate for his clients. I am very excited to have him on the show. He is smart, he is hardworking, he is compassionate. So welcome, Jarrett.
Thank you very much, Amy. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay, so we are going to cut right to the meat of what we're going to be talking about today. And it's basically when somebody is in a car wreck and they're injured. And obviously serious stuff and could be detrimental and probably is detrimental to this person's life. And they want to get some answers about what the next steps they should take with an attorney. And I guess the first thing I'm going to ask you is, when should someone consider getting an attorney or a lawyer after a car wreck or a car accident?
It sounds self-serving, but it's important to get an attorney right away, unless it's a really minor accident. The reason for that is right out of the gate. Sometimes, even if you're seriously injured and in the hospital, the insurance company's claims adjuster or investigator is clamoring to get a statement out of you. And that statement is recorded. It's usually done kind of in short shrift on the telephone, and their goal is to minimize the amount of money that they will ever have to pay you. And so they might ask you leading questions that sound pretty harmless when you answer them, but it will come back to bite you later. And so if you've been legitimately injured in an accident, it's important to get an advocate on your side, somebody who is a go-between, somebody who can be with you on the phone or in person when that first interview takes place. And then from that point forward, be your advocate. And your advocate means not only talking to the claims adjuster on your behalf, but also helping guide you through the process. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. That brings up two questions. One of the things you said was legitimately injured. Tell me what you're talking about when you say that. And, and people can get in all kinds of motor vehicle accidents, car accidents, and it can be from minor injuries to dramatic. But when you say legitimate, I want to hear what you mean by that.
Well, I was in an accident about 2 years ago with my oldest son. We were parked at a light. Our light turned green and somebody smashed us at a high rate of speed. And, after the initial shock of the accident is over, you can immediately tell whether there's something wrong, more often than not. But in the days that follow, you know your own body and you know whether something hurts or something doesn't hurt. And so if you just have property damage and not much else, I wouldn't advise getting a lawyer involved, because that's just one more person sort of muddying up the works. But within a pretty short time, sometimes immediately after the accident, but definitely by the next morning, you will know your own body enough to know if you've been hurt. And so it's important when you're at the scene of an accident, if officers come to the scene and ask you if you're okay, it's good to say, I don't know yet. I'll take care of myself, if you don't need an ambulance right away. So I guess the reason why I use the term legitimate is I think it's important for us to separate people who really have been harmed by somebody else's carelessness versus the type of person that makes everybody hate lawsuits and hate lawyers. I think it's important to distinguish between those two things.
Definitely. If somebody has talked to a car insurance adjuster, does that mean that their case is over, or can they still go to an attorney?
Oh, they can certainly still consult an attorney, and they should. Okay. And frequently, I would say at least half or more of the clients who come to me have already given a preliminary statement to a claims adjuster. But I'm a good lawyer, and I'm good at pointing out all of the ways that an insurance adjuster's questions don't necessarily effectively get all of the information out of my clients. And as I mentioned at the outset, most of those interviews are done pretty quickly by somebody who just wants to clear your file off their plate. I am pretty good at pointing out all of the questions that weren't asked, or all of the information that wasn't sufficiently gathered by that person. So all is not lost if you've already given a statement.